for more is Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz. Good morning. Good to have you in studio. It's always good to do it this way. All right, so let's start first with this decision happening overnight, scrapping these bailouts, as the president likes to call them.
Look, it was exactly the right thing to do. These are massive bailouts to insurance companies. The Democrats love that. I mean, you know, one of the interesting things, one of the interesting consequences of Obamacare, the profits of insurance companies have doubled. In 2008, the top 10 insurance companies, they had about $8 billion in profits. In 2015, they had doubled to $15 billion. And so, of course, we shouldn't be bailing out insurance companies. And, you know, one of the things that was also very clear, what the Obama administration was doing, writing billions of dollars of checks, was illegal. It was contrary. Congress hadn't appropriated the funds. So the president is doing the right thing, but it underscores the need in the Senate that we got to step up and deliver on our promise to repeal Obamacare, that it puts even further heat on the Senate. I think we're close, and we can't give up on it. We need to keep working until we get to 50 votes and deliver on that promise.
As a result of this move by the president, lawsuits, are they likely?
There may be lawsuits, but they're not going to win.
All right.
In fact, there has been a lawsuit against the Obama administration where the court ruled that the payments to the insurance companies were contrary to law. So the lawsuits, the Democrats are blowing smoke if they say they're going to sue.
All right. Speaking of the Democrats, this is what Nancy Pelosi has to say about this move by the president. Listen.
It is a sabotage of the Affordable Care Act and, quite frankly, a real disservice to the American people, many of whom voted for him.
You know what? That actually wasn't as bad as the statement she and Chuck Schumer put out was, this is a spiteful act of vast, pointless sabotage leveled at the middle class.
You know, why is it that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer get really angry defending corporate welfare, defending billions in bailout for insurance companies, but they're not worried about the single mom who's had her hours forcibly reduced to 29 hours a week because of Obamacare? They're not worried about the working family whose premiums have skyrocketed. Average premiums have risen over $5,000 a year under Obamacare. This thing is collapsing, and we have got to lower premiums, expand consumer freedom, give more choice and more competition.
And this comes after the signing of that executive order by the president yesterday, and there was sort of this unlikely alliance that we could see with our own eyes between Trump and Rand Paul at that signing ceremony. And the president, he said, when you get Rand Paul on your side, it has to be positive, that I can tell you. Boy, he said. So, I mean, you have to remember, going back to the primaries, we were both there. There was some choice words that were exchanged between these two. Was that interesting for you to see that?
It has been an amazing journey. And I'm glad the president did what he did this week on Obamacare. He expanded association health plans, which to Rand's credit, he has been advocating for a long time. I've been advocating it for a long time. It's a positive step. What it means for folks at home, in the individual market or small group market, it makes it easier to join an association, which lets you get in the big group market and drive down your premiums. And so I think that was a positive step. I'm glad the president did it. I just hung up the phone 5 minutes ago with the vice president, and I was conveying to him this morning that was a very good thing the president did, and it turns up the heat on Congress that the Senate, we got to do our job now and deliver. We got to deliver on Obamacare, and we got to deliver on tax cuts.
All right, so Senator, I've got the Dow right over your shoulder. It's up 30 points today, sitting at a record high. There's so much anticipation that tax reform will get done by the end of the year. Will it?
I believe we will get it done.
But timing is everything. If we go into the new year, that changes things. Will it get done before end of year?
We have a couple of months at least of work to do. We're at the beginnings, the beginning stages of tax reform. There are a lot of negotiations and back and forth in the House and the Senate. I think we'll get it done. I think it'll be late this year or early next year. I don't know the exact timing.
Well, we know that Speaker Paul Ryan's saying, hey, stick around over Christmas if we don't get this done.
And I think Paul's exactly right. I can tell you there are a bunch of senators, particularly what I call the Young Turks, which is the younger senators elected in the last 6-8 years, who are urging our leadership, let's work, let's stay in session, let's stay through weekends. If the Democrats are going to be obstructionist, let's push forward. Let's show the dedication to accomplishing our agenda that the Democrats showed to wreaking enormous havoc. And I think on tax reform, virtually every Republican wants to get to yes. And the impact on the economy, if we can do a big pro-growth tax cut, is a big, big deal.
But they're not there yet.
There are a lot of trade-offs in tax reform, and we're at the front end of those discussions. In the Senate, we got 52 Republicans. We've seen on Obamacare how hard it is to get 50 Republicans on the same page. I believe we can do it. I can tell you I'm spending every waking moment trying to bring Republicans together, trying to produce consensus and get the job done.
I want to talk about your state. The House just approved this $36.5 billion disaster aid bill. This obviously affects the people of your state after Harvey. Yeah. By the way, how are things going?
You know, Texas is hurting. I mean, Harvey did enormous damage through a massive stretch. I mean, 250 miles from Corpus to Louisiana. We're coming back. I mean, it was inspirational to see Texans coming together and standing together and you know, in the middle of the storm. I actually think the story of Harvey will be the thousands of Texans that just went out and saved their neighbors, rednecks and bass boats.
It was amazing to see those stories. I spent a lot of time down in the state of Louisiana. People really came together after that.
And I will tell you, 2 weeks ago, Congress just passed legislation that I introduced with John Cornyn and Marco Rubio, and it's targeted tax relief at all of the people who were hit by Harvey and Irma and Maria. It lets people deduct the damages from the storm. It lets people withdraw from their retirement, their 401k and IRA without paying the penalties. It gives tax credits,
much needed help
for employers that paid their employees during the storm.
And an update on Puerto Rico. The FBI is now investigating corrupt use of some of those government funds, people withholding, mishandling crucial supplies. They're looking into that right now. We're limited on time, so I want to get to this Steve Bannon, because I need to get your response to this, Senator. Steve Bannon's planning to challenge every Republican incumbent except for you.
You know, there are a lot of battles in Washington. There are a lot of battles politically. I have, in my time in the Senate, stayed out of incumbent primaries. I'm going to continue to do that, and stayed out of the battles between players there. This is substance. We got a job to do. And you know what? There's a reason Steve is talking about doing it.
And let me tell everybody what he said, first of all. He said this on Fox News. There's a coalition coming together that is going to challenge every Republican incumbent except for Ted Cruz. This is obviously the former White House chief strategist.
Look, the reason people are so unhappy, they're ticked off. We've got Republican control of every branch of government, and we're not delivering. You know, if senators don't want to see those kind of challenges, there's an easy solution to that. Let's do what we said we would do. Let's deliver on tax cuts and repealing Obamacare. If we get that done, I'm a big believer good policy is good politics. We'll have a terrific 2018 election year if we cut taxes, repeal Obamacare, and the economy booms. If we don't get any of that done, 2018 could be a bloodbath. We control our own fate. Deliver results.
I've got to leave it there. Generally speaking, how are things for your party, Senator?
Hanging in the balance. It depends on if we do what we said we would do. If we honor our promises, they'll be great. If we don't, they'll be really lousy for the country.
Senator Ted Cruz, great to have you. All right.